So another Duels of Runeterra has passed, number 15 to be exact, and myself and Boulevard, as always, were there to cover all of the day 2 action for you guys. So if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button because this is the place to be for all of the tournament, or Legends of Runeterra tournament action, I should say. And don't forget to like the video if you do like the video. But to get started, we have round 8 Gavone versus Hyped. Hyped at this point, 7-0, so let's see if he can keep his streak going. The Black Boss at X and 2, No Tapper at X and 2, Fly at X and 2, Cephalopod, Destino, and ETS Gamer all at X and 2. And I imagine that some X and 3s will in fact be making the top cut here today.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty reasonable thing. And is Hyped in the game? I know he was selecting his deck when I peeped out of there.
Looks like we are about to get into it, so gonna move on over to Hyped's game. We have game 1 here between Hyped and the Chad. Sorry, Gavone. I'm gonna have to get used to that now. Gonna go ahead and change this as well.
They're both playing Shadow Isle Demacia. They're both playing different champion lineups. On the side of Hyped, we have Callista Quinn. On the side of Gavone, we have Elise Garen. Other than that, they're both basically just playing Bannerman lists. The one difference is Gavone does have the Harrowing, and Hyped has elected not to play that card. Instead, Hyped going for sort of the spell lineup that we saw out of a couple of aggressive lists earlier on. Just 3 Rangers Resolve, 3 Relentless Pursuit, no single combat, no Concerted Strike. On the side of Gavone, has stuck with the single combat, no Concerted Strike though. You know, still playing Rangers Resolve, still playing Relentless Pursuit, no Riposte, no Concerted Strikes. This is actually not what we have been seeing out of Bannerman lately, and it looks like Hyped is going to get down the better opener, getting that War Chef alongside the Fleet Feather Tracker.
I almost feel like that's probably the smartest ad placement I've ever seen. Like,
which one?
So the ad is in the very top left of Hype's screen, and it covers the name of his opponent perfectly. And everybody's always going to look there to see who he's playing. So that's like, you're always guaranteed to get eyes on the ad. Just had to throw that out there real quick. That's why we have our little tracker up in the top left there, though.
When Hyped going to be able to get that Bright Steel Protector down onto his Fleet Feather Tracker, going to line up the trades beautifully onto the War Chef or anything that Gavone wants to develop post-combat. But it looks like Hyped is contemplating not developing in case there is a Bright Steel Protector that comes down, thinking, I really want to kill this War Chef. If I play my Bright Steel Protector, is that too greedy?
Yeah, it might be. You know, obviously we don't have access to Gavone's hand on the other side of the field right now anyways, so I don't mind this play going a little bit more aggressive here. Obviously you want to try to fight for the board in this matchup. The one who wins the board is probably a lot more likely to win the game. Getting a War Chef's buff onto not just the Fleet Feather Tracker, but also a Fleet Feather Tracker with this Bright Steel barrier is pretty incredible. Actually opting to not block with the Laurent too. I feel like most people would want to put the damage onto the War Chefs, no?
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think that even if you do see something like a Bannerman come down from Hype this turn, your Laurent Protégé would still offer up a trade onto it this time around. It looks like we're going to go a little bit wider. The only 3-drop in the deck out of Gavone is the Laurent Protégé, so unless he has another one here, he's going to be playing a little bit off curve.
Yeah, which could be, I mean, it could be multiple things. It could be a War Chef or Bright Steel Protector, but honestly, I mean, this Bannerman coming down from Hyped pretty much just stuffs any Gavone aggression that might come out of this turn, if any. So I imagine we're not going to see an attack here. There's the Bright Steel. We could see something like a single combat if he does want to utilize that 2 mana there, but is at least going to be able to trade with his Fleet Feather and get some use out of that barrier, I should say.
It still feels like it would have been a lot better to block the War Chef and then kill it on this turn.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I feel like we were talking about this yesterday, right? Where, like, getting rid of War Chefs is probably the most prioritized thing when you're going up against a Bannerman deck, right?
Yeah, which is wild because I feel like I don't respect the support archetype as a whole, but I will always, always, always try to kill these Bannermans, or not these Bannermans, these War Chefs absolutely ASAP.
Well, we'll see if that is going to hurt Gavone here in the next few turns. Again, you know, Hype just kind of having the lead as of now anyways with this large board. Doesn't have the, you know, perfect curve for turn 5 right now anyways with a Quinn or a Swiftwing Lancer. I gotta say, the way that Hype's deck does play too, the way he's built it, it's pretty set up for success as far as the curve is concerned. It's pretty, you got 3 Callista and 3 Laurent Protege on turn 3, which again, Gavone only having the Laurent Protege. So, very surprising to not see him curve out on turn 5 here, but nonetheless has a Grizzled Ranger, which is probably just as good as any other turn 5 play, getting that last breath effect off.
And interestingly enough, even though Gavone has the Harrowing, outside of that, these players have pretty much the same cost of a top end. Hype going with 2 Swiftwing Lancer, 2 Cythria, and 3 Genevieve. And then on the side of Gavone, you have 2 Radiant Guardian, 3 Cythria, and 2 Genevieve. Which do you feel is better in this matchup, Cythria the Bold or Genevieve Elmhart? For a while after the buff, we only saw Genevieve. We've seen players start to come around, and now Gavone has flipped it to have more Cythria. I don't know, man. Genevieve. I like that 6-6.
Totally Genevieve. And I was okay, speaking of Genevieve, one of the things I was going to mention is Gavone has the attack token on turn 6, and that I think is actually one of the biggest advantages you can have in any sort of Bannerman mirror match nowadays because of this card, Genevieve. Right? Like if you have Cythria on turn 6, yeah, sure, that's a decent turn 6 drop, but it's no Genevieve. You get Genevieve on turn 6, you are swinging the entire game in your favor that turn, and possibly, as we see here, forcing out a defensive Genevieve, which feels really bad because your opponent's the one that gets to utilize the Scout Challenger.
Yeah, because like if Hype plays Genevieve, then Gavone gets to kill the War Chef and the Genevieve with his Genevieve, unless he wants to play respectfully of the Ranger's Resolve. But I think you always go for the War Chef, because if Hyped has Ranger's Resolve, he's going to play it now, and then that sets you up for better trades for the rest of your turn. You have more information out of your opponent. You know it's there, and this is a relatively low-risk play. I think worst case scenario, even if a Ranger's Resolve does come out of Hype tier, I think you still just kill the War Chef again.
Okay, so Gavone, like, completely proving us wrong here and just saying, I don't give a crap about War Chefs on every single occasion possible, deciding to trade with the 4/4 Bannerman. Like, I am not quite understanding
he's
that.
Scared of the Ranger's Resolve. I think he decided that if Ranger's Resolve does come down, that's not something that I actually want my opponent to have. It'll blow me out a little bit too much, but like, if you're going to attack the Genevieve the second time anyway, you're not playing around Ranger's Resolve.
Yeah, plus, like, you could challenge it with something else to kill it the following attack. Like, I don't know, man. Like, and now, because of this, the War Chefs is still going to live. It's only going to have 3 damage put onto it, which is still, it's still at 2 health, which is, I mean, it doesn't really matter in this matchup, because anything that's going to remove it now is going to be, like, a single combat. But we see here that, actually, well, Hype's not playing single combat. It looks like Gavone is actually playing 3 single combat, so...
Yeah,
I don't know. It seems odd.
I cannot think of any reason why Gavone went for the Bannerman over the War Chef if the second attack was going to be onto the Genevieve anyway. War Chef is 1,000% a better target for everything that you could have here. And my concern was that if Hype top decked a Genevieve, then the War Chef could actually let the Genevieve kill the Garen.
Yeah, we do see the Swiftwing Lancer come down now, which is a hell of a drop to potentially kill this Garen. You just mentioned the Garen. Garen, obviously, a pretty strong 5-drop, which, when it was played on Gavone's 5th turn, completely stuffed Hype's attack, and that's one of the things Garen can do. And that Bannerman buffing it up past the Swiftwing Lancer, which is pretty big.
And now we see the punish for the War Chef living.
Yeah, and this is exactly why you get rid of War Chefs. Like, you could have saved your Garen with that Bannerman. You'd look way smarter for playing the Bannerman this turn, but instead you're just losing card advantage. And now
he has to have Ranger's Resolve, right? Especially,
Gavone?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta hope so, especially if he played the Bannerman into that. And
wow, never mind. Like man.
And what's terrible too is that, like, War Chefs usually is going to trade negatively into something, and he ends up trading evenly with something else on Gavone's field. So it just feels really bad inside of Gavone.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think there's any defense for not going for the War Chef there, but it doesn't matter because Hype's elite, quote-unquote, is a border lookout.
Best elite in the game? What are you talking about, man? You know, I actually did get that one time in a game, and the 4 health actually made a difference, but that was, like, one time a really long time ago. I don't know if it's ever going to happen again.
It was a distant galaxy farther away and longer ago than the Star Wars universe.
Wherever Aurelian Sol is right now, that's where that happened. Which, by the way, hoping Aurelian Sol gets spoiled probably tomorrow, to be honest with you. But
I think we already got our spoilers for today. I don't know if they're. Oh yeah, it's just a surrender out of Hype. Decides that he can't deal with the damage this turn.
Wow.
That border lookout, the one attack, not going to be enough this time around. He needed some fearsome blockers for that Cythria the Bold, and that was a quick game.
That was an incredibly quick game. Wow, so Gavone going to take that away, and I'm still getting. All right. By the way, did I spell Gavone right? Is there two N's? I don't know why I'm thinking there's two N's.
No, there's only one.
There's only one N. Okay, cool. Just double checking there. But yeah, fun fact. As far as the reveals, there's actually one card revealed every hour today. That is. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know if you know that or not.
Oh yeah.
But to the chat, there's one card revealed every hour today. So check Twitter is probably going to be your best bet. Obviously, the Reddit as well to see the cards revealed. And as always, pretty hyped to see any of the new Call of the Mountain cards coming out.
So, last week, or 2 weeks ago, Gavone got to top 4 with that Thresh Gangplank deck. This time he has swapped it around to Piltover and Zon, Thermogenic Beam, and Chempunk Pickpocket, the only cards in this deck. So, had the option to run Twisted Fate Ezreal, wanted to go for the Gangplank instead. That's fine. We've seen the Black Boss do this. Usually, I think he's at a point where he's at like 2 Ezreal, 2 Twisted Fate, 2 Gangplank.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like Gavone has come up to the same brainchild as Black Boss. He's just like 2 months behind on it. So, in 2 months we could see Gavone catch up to Black Boss on the build, but this could just be like a lack of knowledge on the competitive scene, because I don't, like, looking at this, I don't think this is better than Boss's build.
Dude, this guy's your friend, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's why I'm harder.
I was just gonna say, you're hard bodying him right now.
The one thing I do like, I've sung the praises of Zap Sprayfin, Slippery Wave Rider in the NAB decks before. Gavone is going for 3 Citrus Courier.
Yeah.
Which, when you have that double elusive package, I actually like a lot.
Yeah, so Citrus Courier, we've talked about this before too, how it kind of rose to popularity. Everybody thinking, oh my god, Plunder, Heal, and Rally in a 6-cost 4/5, like that's busted. And then it dropped off the face of the planet, essentially, with barely sometimes being a 1-of. And this is probably, in recent memory, the first time I've seen it as a 3-of in any sort of Bilgewater deck. So it'll be interesting to see if Gavone's able to make use of it here and kind of set up some sort of 2-turn kill with this Rally effect.
And if that doesn't work out, he's still got the good old-fashioned 3 Riptide Rex.
If that doesn't work out, he's got Slippery Wave Rider. What I'm trying to figure out in my head is over under 3 times that you use a pun with Slippery Wave Rider today.
Over.
Oh, yeah.
Hard over.
All right, well, at least you're honest. Can't fault the man for being honest, everybody, all right?
Sorry, I meant under. That was a slip of the tongue.
Yeah. Oh. Wow, that was actually a pretty good one. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give you credit for that.
So Gavone going to take control of the board here with this Thermo Beam. Hyped. I believe this is a 3-mana beam. Yeah, so the Ranger's Resolve could have prevented it, but that would be such a low-impact Ranger's Resolve.
Yeah.
I think that this is a card where if you can, you want to save it for the Riptide Rex turn.
Yeah, and this Quinn, this Quinn might be pretty decent here. I mean, there's really nothing that's going to get rid of it unless his opponent has another Thermo Beam, which, I mean, after seeing one drop, it's probably unlikely, but, I've seen weirder things. If he doesn't have the Thermo Beam, this is incredible for hyped. I mean, this is 3 scout units right here that are going to wreck the board. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty good turn.
Well, he could get a Make It Rain off the Zap Sprayfin.
We have Ranger's Resolve.
That is true.
Yeah.
I don't think this is where hyped wants to use the Resolve, but he will if he has to.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, do you... Or actually, no, the Zap Sprayfin will still trade. You actually don't save anything.
Line of blocks.
Yeah. So we'll see where this Make It Rain hits. And
I think with that...
You do it.
Okay, yeah, you definitely do it. You 1,000%. This is such a good Ranger's Resolve on the side of hype.
Did we say Ranger's Resolve? We meant deny is what we meant, actually. Sorry about that.
And you... Oh, no, it's not deny because you still get 3 Ezreal targets. Oh, no, that's right. We're playing P&Z Bilgewater, but not Ezreal. Which wouldn't bother me that much, except he's only playing 3 champions. It's only the 3 Gangplank.
And something else pretty critical here, I think, is that this Quinn now would have went down to 1 health, but will now stay at 2 because of the Ranger's Resolve, which is kind of just a nice added bonus there after that Make It Rain. So we'll see if that's going to be impactful at all, if another Make It Rain possibly comes out.
Almost certainly. I mean, we do know that... I believe that Make It Rain came all the way from the right, so the Zap Sprayfin spell is still in the left of Gavone's hand.
Yeah, we're going to have... the attack token on Gavone's side of the field now. So turn 6, off turn 6, yeah, you play the Cythria. Why? Because then you're going to attack with her next turn. She has no bearing on the game this turn. Next turn, however, hyped probably going to go with, I mean, maybe Cythria Genevieve, and if so, that is a hell of an attack turn. And still not Riptide enabled either on the side of Gavone. This could be really rough. Even a Fleet Feather Tracker option as well.
Yeah, this is not looking great for Gavone. I mean, if a Bannerman win is picked up by both players, I mean, that's all fair. Everybody gets their Bannerman win. Hype's last deck is Ezreal Karma, and I think it would behoove Gahone to not behoove Gahone. Jesus, the V in behoove got me on that.
Gahonies? Is that what that?
It's got some big Gahones. Yeah, I think you really don't want to take this into a Karma Ezreal matchup.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. And
typically, Riptide is good against, Ezreal matchups, especially Karma Ezreal. Anything with a low curve, like a weak board, Riptide Rex is going to be phenomenal against. My concern is the amount of stun effects going into a matchup with 3 Citrus Courier.
And we'll see. Right now, this Keg going to go down. The Genevieve going to get an attack in as well. And not only that, on top of all of it, Quinn, good old Quinn, is going to go ahead and level up. That is just game. I don't think there's actually anything that Gavone can have here. Right?
No, I mean, he stole a couple of cards from Height, but the only spells in Height's deck are Relentless Pursuit and Ranger's Resolve. No single combat to help save him. So yeah, I do believe this will... Oh, no. Yeah, no, this is lethal. This is lethal.
Yeah, it's just straight up lethal. Jesus. Wow. Yep, and that is the power of this Bannerman deck. If it's able to stabilize and just get that tempo really... just really high tempo early on there. That's what we're seeing on the side of Hype. To just so many big attack units, leveling the Quinn even. And it's so funny. I feel like every time I see somebody in the competitive space level a Quinn, they always forget that the Valor will be summoned. So they actually do the attack first, and then like pull things, and then hover the eye and go, oh wait, never mind, and then they take an attacker back, and then they let it go through. So Hype there, taking game 2, going to tie it up 1-1 in this round 7 of day 2 of Swiss.
It was actually really easy to figure out how that's going to play out, because you look at these two decks, and there is only one fast spell between these two decks, and it's the Make It Rains out of Gavone. That is the only thing that can be played in combat at fast speed anyway. You do have a couple of burst spells, but it's Warning Shot, Pilfered Goods, Ranger's Resolve. None of those do anything. And now we are going to have the Karma Ezreal. Chad has to play... Oh, God, I called him Chad because it was on the screen. Gavone has to play to the Riptide win condition. Citrus Courier, probably a lot less likely to get it done given the amount of stuns that we do see out of Karma Ezreal. Let me just check if there's a Yone in this deck. There is that one of Yone.
Very smart decision, I think. We saw some people opt to not go for the Yone, such as Numiel in the PCS tournament. I think that did end up hurting her in the long run. I do think Yone is absolutely outstanding late game with a lot of different decks, especially something like a Bannerman matchup. Obviously, that's not what we're going to see here. Instead, going to see this Gangplank deck with the 3 Riptide Rex and 3 Citrus Courier. So we'll see if I feel like Citrus Courier could give Gavone a little bit of an advantage here, having those late game rallies with some larger units on the field.
One thing that's always interesting to try and track is, we talked about the stuns line up pretty well into the Citrus Courier, but if I just jam multiple Citrus Couriers, I can overload the amount of good answers that you actually have available to you. Oh, that's a big Petty Officer hit.
You want to talk about advantage. That is amazing. One of the few one costs that hasn't been nerfed. We were discussing this yesterday. That actually still gives you incredible value. I mean, how many one costs it's based on region, right? Whatever regions you're playing.
No, because he's not playing Freljord.
Oh, that's right. Wait, what are the cards? What cards is it that are only region based? Isn't there a specific?
Generally, there are a lot of things that randomly create spells. I think Petty Officers specifies any region.
Does Petty Officer say that? I'm actually curious now. It's the wording. Oh yeah, it just says one random cost follower. So I think most of the spell ones are from your region.
Yeah, I think spells are region locked, and then I guess I know there's one card that says from any region. I just can't think of what it is now. But Hype gonna throw out a Steel Tempest, not gonna let Gavone go towards this Gangplank level up condition.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead get some blocks on there, and this is gonna go ahead pass the attack token back over to Hype. Gonna get that Dragonlink token out there. Not really gonna do much, but just get 2 damage down on Gavone here. And sitting pretty right now. I mean, he's not really worried about much. Already has this Karma to potentially work towards on turn 10 here. Unfortunately for Gavone, too, having to play this Jagged Butcher as a 2-2 and not a 3-3. Not exactly the play he probably wants to make, but seems like he has to make it in order to keep the aggression on here.
And it looks like Gavone has a weak hand. And to be fair, I think this might be the highest curve nab deck that we've seen out of a player. You've got 5/5 drops, 3/6 drops, 3/8 drops. It's very possible that like he does not have a lot of early game, and here we are going to see the Gangplank. That might get concussive bombed. It could get gotcha'd and traded by the Dragonling, but then you open yourself up to the potential of a Make It Rain.
Yeah, Make It Rain, such an interesting card to have to play around as well. It's so funny. I never thought I'd be happy to see a card with RNG in this game. But Make It Rain I'm actually very okay with in this game particularly.
I want it to be known that I am not. But
you don't like it at all, really?
I hate it. There are so many times. Like, I think we saw it yesterday where a player had to line up the Make It Rain and then Mystic Shot in response just in case the Make It Rain low rolled, and then the Make It Rain high rolled, and they just lost the Mystic Shot for nothing.
Well, that player clearly has never played at a casino, okay? That's the issue there. We need to have people that gamble a little bit more. Jesus. Thought this was a card game, guys. God.
I mean, there is inherent RNG in a card game called I have to draw cards. That's the limit I want for my RNG. I don't need any of these random effects. They do make the game more fun, though, and you do need casual players to play your game. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if you have the best competitive scene in the world if only 16 people are actually playing the game.
Jeez, well, when you put it like that, God, top 16 fills up fast then. So we are going to go ahead and see this Gangplank's parlay.
Big parlay.
Yeah, the two damage parlay, which is pretty nice there, clearing out that Eye of the Dragon. Also going to get another Gangplank proc there off, and the attack token again. Going back over to Hyped, has the two pieces to the puzzle. So we'll see if he can actually make it here for the next few turns.
There's actually pretty low odds for this Ezreal to work out. There's Slippery Wave Riders and Zap Spray Fins in the deck of Gavone. Does he have an elusive blocker? If not, this Gangplank could be dying on the following turn. There's the Slippery Wave Rider, the perfect answer for that Ezreal.
Not only that, had that one spell mana slot open just waiting to be filled up by that Attune effect on the Slippery Wave Rider. So, yeah, it feels really good on the side of Gavone being able to get that on the field. And, hey, this is exactly where something like Slippery Wave Rider is super, super impactful. We'll see if it's able to push through some more damage and at the very least possibly remove this Ezreal. I mean, as it currently stands, it's at least going to trade with the Ezreal, right, with this gotcha.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, actually, if Hyped is going to offer up the block with the Ezreal. Like, do you want to trade onto the Slippery Wave Rider? Because there's a lot of damage coming out of Gavone this turn. Even if you block the Jagged Butcher, to be effective, I think it's more likely that you block the Gangplank just to get it off board. It gets weird when your opponent plays a champion spell. We did see Gavone fire off that Gangplank's parlay last turn, and you have to think, does he have a third copy of Gangplank, or does he think that I just can't kill this one, or that particular parlay was just so impactful that it's worth it? We're actually not going to go for an open attack. We're going to get blown out by Yone.
Yeah, Yone going to come and just rip off these two stuns here. I was going to say, do we get something like a block with the Ezreal on the Wave Rider and the 3-2 onto the Gangplank here, and then just have the Mystic Shot and the Gotcha come out to clear both. But Yone turn 7 feels like a good Yone. Not only that, it's most likely going to be trading with this Gangplank at some point soon.
I feel like Gavone was actually in a really good spot and then just doesn't go for the open attack. And, I mean, Hyped has the punish.
Yeah, and this is exactly why you play one of Yone. And this is exactly why if you're playing against Yone on turn 7, you open attack. That's what you do on turn 7. Not what Gavone tried to do here. And instead, going to get the Gangplank and the Wave Rider stunned. Suddenly just making this open attack. Or, well, it's no longer an open attack. God, I did it again. Suddenly making this attack just seem really, really bad in comparison to having open attacked.
And Yone's the thing in Hyped's deck that is going to soak up the most Riptide hits, if that is something that we see out of Gavone next turn, does have that warning shot created off the Yordle Grifter. It's weird to me that, like, I almost feel like the warning shot created by Yordle Grifter should have a different name from warning shot so I can differentiate it, like Grifter's warning shot or something along those lines.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Kind of like the champion spells, but I feel like that would just add this whole level of coding into the game that just doesn't seem like it's worth the time.
I just want Submersible to be better.
Oh yeah, there you go. Actually, yeah, that's technically a buff to Submersible. Now I definitely like it. Okay, I'm down with that one. But we are going to see the Thermo Beam come out and get rid of this Ezreal.
Not only that, but Gavone's petty officers have been doing work. The first one hitting Omenhawk, the second one hitting Aporo that is going to give him another card in hand.
Ooh, okay, everybody going to go ahead and attack here. This will be decent trades, though, on the side of Hyped.
Yeah, soften up the board for the Riptide, I think, is what Gavone is going for here, because now Riptide's sending 6 to the face.
Yeah, we'll see if we see it come down here on turn 8. I mean, crucially, and again, always something you got to think about. We mentioned this with the Demacia mirror match, having the Genevieve on turn 6 as well as the attack token. The attack token not going to be on the side of Gavone for this Riptide Rex, but a little less impactful than not having it with Genevieve just because Riptide does, clear the board anyways. Still gives you space to get a pretty good open attack through. We'll see if it comes out next turn.
So what if this was a 10-headed play on the side of Gavone?
Oh, let's hear it.
Where he says, go ahead, play your Yone. I'm going to Citrus Courier you next turn.
Ooh, that's spicy. That's spicy. I mean, wait. All right, so you're saying Citrus Courier with no Riptide, though?
Yeah, so instead of Riptide, because it's possible he doesn't have Riptide, but I don't think it's, I think it's very likely that Gavone either has Citrus Courier or Riptide.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's 6 cards in deck that we haven't seen a single copy of yet. That's very, very likely. And this, I mean, so if he does have the Citrus Courier, what does he do here? Is there any way that there's no way he removes this, right? He has to block it to get rid of this.
He could have stolen a Mystic Shot from Hyped. I know we saw a Thermo Beam out of Gavone, but he does also main deck that card. I didn't catch if that was the card that was stolen by the Yordle Grifter.
See, we call him Gavone. Now everybody's confused. Nobody knows what's going on.
It's only because Hyped is covering his name.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, I told you, perfect ad placement. Now everybody's talking about this now.
And I like Hyped's ads too, like Monster. I drink Monster.
I love
Jersey
Monster.
Mike's. I love Jersey Mike's. Sap. I don't know what that is.
Ooh, you ever have D'Angelo's?
No.
I love. If you like Jersey Mike's, you love D'Angelo's, man. Their steak is amazing. So good, so good. All right. Anyways, Yone, Yone attacking. I don't know. I mean,
I think this is Hyped playing around the Citrus Courier.
Okay.
He says, if you want to hit me with this 1/1, you have to block that, and you have to block this Yone, otherwise I'm, potentially just going to kill you with an Ezreal. So I at least get 1 unit off the board, hanging on to every little piece of life that Hyped can.
Well, now...
And then if you want to play Citrus Courier, I still get to block the Gangplank.
Well, unless a Make It Rain comes down.
Yeah, that would suck.
Make It Rain would clear the board, get the Plunder proc for the Citrus Courier. Just do it would basically probably win the game for Gavone, at least at this current point. Karma's still 2 turns away from being enlightened, and oh god, this is like, that feels bad. Or actually, okay, now Make It Rain Citrus Courier is off the table, though.
Yeah, so I think that... So Hyped also with the attack, you play around the Riptide Rex a little bit better. You do get to kill that Poro. You still eat the same amount of Riptide shots. Mm-hmm. We do know that Riptide is not the option. Is it Citrus Courier? Or is it nothing? If it's not Citrus Courier, Gavone's in a terrible spot, sort of admitting that he doesn't have Rex and he doesn't have Citrus Courier, doesn't have any of his top end, is going to have to play to this Gangplank win condition. And that's not something that's super likely to work out, though he is still an attack turn away from the Karma Ezreal being online.
Well, there's the potential that Hype does take a lot of damage next turn. He doesn't necessarily have a way to deal with, like, a Riptide coming down at the start of next turn. Or really, I mean, if we do see the Citrus Courier come out here, he has Deep Med to dig for some stuff, but will only be able to play anything with 4 or less cost right now, like a Concussive Palm. Wait, he mistakenly played.
Yeah, he didn't use the right one.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. All right, there is the Citrus Courier coming down. That is rough on the side of Hype. Do you throw down Karma as a blocker here? I don't think you ever do that.
I think Deep Med is probably better. If you lose this Karma, I think you might actually
lose.
I don't want to say you lose the game, but you do put yourself in a much, much worse spot. Yep. Your opponent is at 20. You do need the Karma Ezreal online to actually win the game. You already lost the Ezreal. If you lose the Karma as well, that's very bad. I think you have a very good chance at getting a stun effect off of this Deep Meditation. There are 3 left in the deck. We already saw 1 Steel Tempest and 1 Concussive Palm used. What would feel terrible is if you hit something like Double Will of Ionia and that big nerf comes in. So it is going to be the Karma, trying to hang on to the life total as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I posed the question. I didn't necessarily want that to be the answer. That feels terrible, actually. That's got to be one of the best value one-mana thermal beams I've seen in my life. That is incredible. And now, I mean, wait, 5, 10. He actually lives by 1 if he doesn't block. Okay, this is going to save 1 additional health just so he doesn't lose to the warning shot. Oh, boy, this feels bad. And I think that Hyped is not playing potions? No potions. He is playing...
No potions.
He's playing 2 Steel Tempest and 3 Concussive Bombs. So if he did go that Deep Meditation route, I feel like he would have gotten a stun.
I mean, he's only got 3 left in the deck, and now he's actually going to rummage for the Steel Tempest.
Nope, nothing.
So if Deep Med does draw, I don't know how Deep Med works, but if it did draw the top 2 spells of your deck, we now know that he wouldn't have gotten a stun effect.
Yes, yep. I don't know. Does it do the top? I mean, it says just draw 2 other spells. I don't think it's top 2.
It might not be top 2,
Yeah.
but I mean, you know.
Throwing stuff out there. I get it.
Yeah.
Making the brain compartments
I don't even know if
move.
the top 2 necessarily exists. Like, is my top 2 predetermined before I play Rummage, or does it just give me 2 spells?
You really want to get into that right now?
No.
All right, so speaking of game theory, all right, getting this random spell, it is nada. That is useless.
But now you're dead to the open attack, right?
Well,
oh no, we get a Steel Tempest.
We get a Steel Tempest, so he could Deep Med for. Actually, no, he could just Steel Tempest and will.
Yeah. And
then block, or he could try to Deep Med for another Steel. No, he doesn't have enough mana. Okay.
So here are the problems. You can't Will of Ionia Gangplank because you died to Barrel Warning Shot.
Mm-hmm.
You can't Will of Ionia Citrus Courier because it's a Citrus Courier and there's a Warning Shot in your opponent's hand.
Yep.
So you have to Will of Ionia the Slippery Wave Rider.
Yep.
Which
and stun.
I mean, still doesn't feel great.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you live. That's what really matters here. Unfortunately, though, I feel like the only way Hyped can actually come back in this is if this Karma lives somehow, and it's not. And I don't really know what type of top deck Hyped could get to actually win this game on the next turn.
No, and he can't even play the Deep Meditation this turn, which is
okay.
Or we can. And now we lose.
Yeah, okay. So I think he kind of recognized that if he played out the hand that let him live another turn, I think he just loses anyways. So I think he was trying to high roll there. I don't really know what high roll.
I mean, I guess Mystic Shot.
Mystic Shot.
So that you Mystic Shot the Wave Rider.
And then stun.
But I mean, you could have just. Yeah, I mean, I think Hyped was dead no matter what because he was losing the Karma there.
Yeah, so I think I actually don't mind that. You know, you go for the high roll, but unfortunately, Hyped gonna be taken down by Gavone, i.e. the Chad Stride for anybody just joining us in chat. That is in fact his opponent's name. We're gonna come back on. We're gonna figure out if we can go ahead and catch somebody else. Anybody else streaming right now? Or? All right, and that's it. Gavone gonna go ahead and take it away. So we'll see if he can keep this streak going, make it into the top cut. But as always, everybody stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.